Hi, boys and girls. Welcome to my house. You say hi to Lola? Oh, she's being shy. Say hi. She might be popping in and out of our video. She wants treats. Okay, so today's video is going to be about spring. Spring is the season that we are currently in. And to go along with spring, we got a new issue of Let's Find Out. So this is our scholastic news that we read in class. Unfortunately, I'm not able to give them to you, but we're going to be doing it all online, just like we would normally do. You're just not going to have this right in front of you. Okay, so I'm going to share my computer screen so that you can see everything I'm seeing. Okay, so here is the Scholastic News website, and here is our magazine that we're going to be reading. So just like I would normally do, we are going to click on it and we are going to read Scholastic News. Oh, watch out. Okay, so the sound is really hard to hear on my computer, so I'm going to be reading it to you and you guys just have to follow along and listen. My mouse cursor that's moving around right now, that is where I'm going to be reading. So we'll start with the title. Let's find out. If you see a spring flower, you might bend down to sniff it. Everyone try sniffing. Using your nose, when you sniff things, you can smell it. Voila. Okay, let's turn the page. If you bend down to sniff the flower, you might see a worm on the ground. If a worm is on the ground, a bird might hop over and snatch it up. Let's watch this video. What's it gonna get? A big juicy worm. Birds like to eat the worms. All right, back to reading. Let's make it full screen so we can see it better. If a bird snatches up the worm, it might fly to its nest and feed its chicks. Chicks are baby birds, and if you look closely, you can see the nest is up here in the tree. The birds put their nest high up in trees so that they can keep their chicks away from danger and that they don't get eaten by other animals. If you look up to see it feed its chicks, you might see more spring flowers. So trees bloom during the spring, and that's when you'll start to see the flowers grow. Let's see this video. Okay, so those are baby chicks in a nest. The mommy bird has brought a big worm and she's putting it right into those birds' mouths. She'll have to go get some other worms for the other baby chicks. All right, let's move down here. In spring, flowers bloom. That means they grow and open up. Here are some of the first flowers to bloom in the spring. A daffodil, this is the yellow daffodil. A crocus, this purple flower right here. And a tulip, this pretty pink flower. Oh, I hear my chicks peeping. They must be hungry. Can you peep like chicks? Okay, so I want everyone to try their best peeping chick sound, like chip, 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 chip. Now you try. All right, let's turn the page. Now this is the back of our Scholastic News where we usually do an activity. It says, say it, spell it, write it. Say the name of the picture. Click the letters to spell it. Then type the word. We did the first letter for you. Hint, the words are in the magazine. Each word has 4 letters. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, let's look at this picture right here. This is a blue. That's correct, a bird. And bird starts with b, b, b. What letter says b? I have it highlighted right here for you, B. The next sound is kind of tricky because it's silent. You hear it b, and you would think it's for R, but there is an I in there. So that one is silent. We're going to click on I, b, what would come next? I, R. The R comes, and the final sound, D, D, D. What sound says D? What letter has the sound D? Good job. All right, the next one right here, we have a nice pink worm. What letter does worm start with? W, w, w. Good job. Now we have another silent sound in there. It doesn't say its sound, but there is an extra letter. So instead of our which is the R, we need to add in the O. O, it's silent. What says And our final sound, worm. What says Watch out. The letter. She wants to be in the video so bad. Okay, and our final picture is right here. It's pointing to this brown hay around the bird. That's called a nest. All right, so nest, the first sound is N. What letter says N? That's correct. N. N says N. The next sound is eh, eh, eh. What letter says eh? I know the letter E says E and eh. E. Next sound, S, N, S. What letter says S? And our final sound, T, N, S. T, T, T. What letter says T, T, T? You got it. Nest. Very good job. Let's go back and see if we have another video that we can watch. Okay, so here it is, the sounds of spring. Now, it's going to be really hard for you to hear it, so I'm going to put on the titles, the words at the bottom of the video, and I'm going to read it to you, and we'll talk about some of the sounds that you might hear during springtime. All right, so they had a lamb making its baby lamb noise, and bees buzzing, frogs ribbiting. What are all those sounds? The sounds of spring. Now, a lot of animals are born during the spring. That's why we have this baby lamb right here. And this is a, oh, let me move my screen. This right here is a bee buzzing, a bird chirping, and these are baby chicks from a duck. All right, let's continue. Spring is a season that comes right after winter. In winter, much of the United States is cold and still. Animals hibernate. Trees have lost their leaves. The ground is frozen. But in spring, everything warms up and wakes up. And if you listen closely, you can hear the sounds of spring all around you. This tiny frog is called a spring peeper. It is one of the first animals to wake up from its winter sleep. These frogs are so tiny, one can fit on the tip of your finger. Spring peepers may be small, but they are loud. Their throats make a bubble when they peep. In spring, you're likely to hear birds singing early in the morning. They start singing about an hour before the sun comes up. Some birds sing to tell other birds, I'm here. This is my territory. Spring is also a time when baby birds are hatching. They sing to let their parents know they are hungry. That's the sound of someone sneezing. In spring, many people get runny, itchy noses, and they shoo. In spring, there's a lot of pollen, and pollen makes many people sneeze. Pollen is a yellow powdery grain that is made by trees and flowers. Because it is warmer in spring, flowers are blooming everywhere. These trees are growing their leaves, and the flowers and trees are making a lot of pollen. The sound of spring, rain. Spring is one of the rainiest times of the year. But that's good news for all the plants that are growing. They need rainwater to grow big and strong. Splash. And that's the sound of boots splashing in spring. When all that spring rain mixes with the warmer soil on the ground, it makes mud. I think this doggy is going to need a bath. So when you hear the peeping of a frog, the tweeting of baby birds, the pitter-patter of rain, the splashing of mud puddles, and people sneezing all around you, you'll know spring is finally here. All right. So for the end of our video, we'll just do a little review of spring and all the things we have learned. Now, spring in the United States typically begins on March 20th. So that was just 7 days ago, 1 week ago, spring began. During spring, the weather gets warmer with the sun coming out. But there's also a lot more rain. You may have noticed that it's rained a lot more often lately. With the sun and rain, flowers and other plants begin to bloom. Birds will chirp early in the morning. And some baby birds are born and ready to eat. And bears wake up from hibernation. Hello. I will be posting a video of a bear waking up from hibernation so you can see what it looks like when it's time for them to wake up in the spring. Some other things that happen during the spring are holidays. Some holidays we'll be talking about in the future are Easter and Mother's Day, but that'll be for later. All right, now I posted a video earlier this week when I went to the classroom and I showed you guys what's going on there. So if you haven't watched it yet, make sure you do that. And then I hope you guys have a great weekend. And on Monday, maybe we'll do a little bit of writing about what your favorite season is. Okay, bye. You want to say bye, Lola? Come here.